final review unit 3. So example 1. Who remembers what you do with an exponent outside like that? Good. It's saying that this 3 goes to everything inside. If something doesn't have an exponent, it has an exponent of 1. Okay, so this is going to end up being 3 to the third power, which is 27. Okay, and then we're going to have x to the third power and y to the ninth power. Powers to powers, you multiply. All right, so we go down to the bottom. This is where some of you get confused. There is a number in front of this x, and that number is a negative 1. When we square a negative 1, it becomes a positive 1. If you want to write positive 1, you can, but you don't need to. And then we have x squared to the second power, which will make x to the fourth. And then we're going to end up with y to the sixth. Okay, at this point, who remembers what we do? Yes, and remember, you're basically subtracting, because this is saying there's 3 x's on the top and there's 4 x's on the bottom. And you can cancel out 1 for 1. So how many are going to end up being left?
1 x on the bottom.
Good, 1 x on the bottom. So all of these are going to cancel out, and we are just going to have an x in the denominator. What is going to happen with the y's?
There'll be 3 left on the top.
Good. All of these 6 will cancel out, and there will be 3 left on top. So my answer is 27 y to the third power over x. Any questions? Okay, example 2. Who remembers how to do example 2? Good, you have to multiply this. You can use FOIL method if you like that method, but to keep things organized, usually the box I think is best. So what size box would you need for this problem?
3 by 2.
Very good, because we have 3 terms and 2 terms. So along the top here I have 2x squared, a positive x, and a negative 1. And along the side I have a 3x and a negative 4. Be very careful that you write the signs, so that, especially the negatives. And then you're going to multiply it out, which it looks like most of you are already doing. So this first box, do you guys want me to wait a minute? Okay. Okay, so the correct answer is 6x to the third power minus 5x squared minus 7x plus 4. If you want to check your answer. Good. That's the goal. So in this box, 3 times 2 is 6, and x squared will make x to the third power. 3x times x makes 3x squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Going to the bottom, we have negative 4 times 2x, which is negative 8x squared. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 1 is a positive 4. Your like terms are in your diagonals. So negative 8 and positive 3 make the negative 5. 6x cubed didn't match with anything. Negative 4x and negative 3x, you add those to make negative 7x, and then 4 is by itself. Any questions on example 2? Okay, example 3. Who remembers how to do long division? Okay, so can someone tell me what I should do first?
Oh,
Yes, Hope.
you have to figure out how to get 4x to the third. So like what?
Good, so you're going to look at the
Second term.
first 2 terms. You're looking at 2x and 4x to the third. Okay, you're always looking at the first 2. So 2x times what makes 4x to the third? And you're going to line that up with your x squared term. Okay, so we have 2x squared. So I'm going 2x squared times 2x, which makes 4x to the third. And 2x times -1 makes negative 2x. But whenever you're doing long division, once you multiply that out, then you need to change your signs because you're subtracting. So this becomes a minus and this becomes a plus. The whole purpose is that these cancel out, and they do. And then you have 6 plus 2, which makes 8x squared. And you bring down your next term, which is minus 2x. So now what two terms am I looking at? Good, 8x squared and 2x. So now we're figuring out 2x times what makes 8x squared? Good, and that's a positive 4x, so don't forget your plus sign. So we have plus 4x there. And now we take this 4x and multiply it. 4x times 2x is 8x squared. 4x times -1 is negative 4x. But then I need to what? Change my signs because I'm subtracting. So that's a minus and a plus. These cancel out, and negative 2x and positive 4x makes 2x. And we bring down our next term, which is a positive 3. So now what am I looking at? 2x and 2x. So what do I multiply 2x by to get 2x? A positive 1. Good. 1 times 2x is 2x. 1 times -1 is -1. But then I need to what? Change my sign. So I have a negative and a positive. These cancel, and 3 plus 1 makes 4. How do I write what is left over? Good. Plus 4, whatever the remainder was, divided by whatever I'm dividing by, and I'm dividing by 2x minus 1. And that is my answer. Any questions? No? All right. Example 4. It says to factor completely. Whenever you're factoring, what's the first thing you should always check for? Is there GCF there? No. There is not a GCF. But I do notice this is a cube. Okay, so we are going to try to factor using cubes. So, can 8 be written as a cube? Yes. What is 8 written as a cube? Very good. So we have 2 cubed. X is already written as a cube, x cubed, plus, and can I write 125 as a cube? What is it? 5 cubed. Very good. Okay, so when you're doing your cube factoring, your first parenthesis ends up becoming what?
All that without the cube.
Good, all of that without the cubes. So it's just 2x plus 5. And then we have another parenthesis that's going to have 3 terms. The first term is what? It's the first term squared. Don't forget that you have a 2 and an x. You have to square both of them. So what will that end up becoming? Good. 4x squared. This next sign, is it going to be plus or minus? Minus, because it's always the opposite. So it's going to be minus. Who remembers how to find the middle term? Multiply this together. What do they multiply to be? 10x. The last term is what? Always positive. Very good, because of your soap. And it's going to also be what? The last term squared, which is... And that cannot be factored any further. This is your answer. So, do we need to recap that, or are we good? Okay? All right, so what are we going to do with example 5? Did some of you already do this? Yeah, I can give you a minute to do it on your own. If you get the answer and want to write it on your whiteboards and show me, you can do that. think so. Yes. 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 You forgot something at the end. Yes. Good. Okay. Oh wait, a minus sign is wrong. Check your signs. Okay. Yes. So how do I write 27 as a cube? Good. It is 3 cubed. And then we have x cubed, and then y is already written as a cube. So my first parenthesis is always whatever it was without the cube, so that makes it 3x minus y. Okay, next one is the next term. This one is going to be squared. Square both of them. 3 squared is 9, and then x squared. Remember, your sign here is always the opposite, so this is going to be a plus. You multiply 3x times y together, and that makes, and the last term is going to always be positive, and you're going to square y, which makes it y squared. There's your answer. So don't forget about SOAP. So remember, same sign, opposite sign, always positive. Yes? Okay. All right, questions? No? Okay, let's move on here. Example 6. What should we always check for first? Is there a GCF? What is it? 4. So when we take out a 4, and sometimes you guys forget to write your GCF in front, so make sure you're writing it in front. You divide each of these by 4, and you're left with y squared minus 4x squared. Can that be factored any further? Yes, because it is a difference of 2 squares, because 4 can be written as 2 squared, right? So we end up with 4, and difference of squares, we split up our squares, we get y minus 2x and y plus 2x. Can I factor that any further? No, that is my answer. Okay, any questions? Am I going too fast? Okay, example 7. Who remembers how to do this one? Hope, what do you think? No. I think. Right. Remember this? Like we're going to go let z equal x plus 7. So then we have z squared minus 36. Can I factor z squared minus 36? Yes, what is it? Good, it's a difference of squares. Z minus 6, z plus 6. Is that my answer though? No, because what do I need to do now? Good, you have to take x plus 7 and substitute it back in for z. So I get x plus 7 minus 6 and x plus 7 plus 6. Can either one of those be simplified? Yes, because I can add negative 6 and 7 together, and what does that make? X plus 1, and then 6 plus 7 makes x plus 13. And that is my answer. If you multiply this out, did you get the same answer? You did, actually. So could you do it that way? Yes. But sometimes you're going to have like no numbers here. It might be like 2a plus b. So you need to remember about the z thing. Okay? All right, any other questions on 7? Okay, example 8, how are we going to factor that? Good, you're over, under, bottoms up. You want a minute straight on your own? Okay. And if you have your answers, you are welcome to show me on your whiteboards. Nope. A hint is that you need to make sure you reduce. When you go back under, make sure you reduce the fractions if you can. Yes. Your signs are mixed up. Yes. Yes. I can't read it. Good. Yes. I can't read yours. Yes. I can't read yours. Check yours with Roel. Yes. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so if you didn't get a chance to write it down, the correct answer was 2x plus 3 and 4x minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through this. So we start by taking the 8 and we go over. Always check for a GCF first, but there wasn't a GCF, okay? So now I have x squared plus 10x minus 24. So we are looking for the numbers that add to be 10 and multiply to be negative 24. We have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and I think that's it, right? So if you look, 2 and 12 can make 10, and so can 4 and 6. So you have a little bit of a dilemma in that you have to figure out, well, which one makes them a negative 24 and a positive 10? 2 and 12. Okay, which one needs to be negative? 2. All right, so we get x minus 2 and x plus 12. Always double check yourself. Those do add to be 10, multiply to be negative 24. But since I went over by 8, I need to go under by 8. And you always need to reduce, right? We always have to reduce. 2 over 8 reduces to 1 over 4. Since I still have a bottom number, we bring our bottoms up, and that becomes 4x minus 1. 12 over 8, can I reduce that? You can reduce by 4. Okay, so 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Again, I still have a bottom number, but I bring my bottom up, and I get 2x plus 3. Who remembers how we can just double check that we actually did it correctly? Your front two numbers should multiply to be your original front number. So 4x times 2x, does that make 8x squared? Yes. Okay, and your last two numbers should multiply to be your last number. Do those multiply to be the correct number? Yes, so I know I did it right. Those of you that got it wrong, if you would have double checked yourself, you would have seen that you made a mistake by doing that little check. Okay, any questions there?